Hello and welcome back to a new episode of How-To. This time we will talk about tournament preparation. And not only regarding the game itself, but we also take a look at things you would probably not expect in such a video. We also think this episode isn't strictly relevant to new players, because even if you're participating in big events on a regular basis, there might still be a takeaway for you. So, without further ado, let's start with our first part and the most relevant one. Your choice of command zone and thereby the deck you're going to play at the next tournament. And here is already the first decision you have to make. Which kind of player are you, or which priorities in regards to the event do you have? I would always recommend players to play a deck they really enjoy. But there are different ways of enjoying Magic the Gathering. You might be a player that enjoys winning games above all else and plays any deck that offers the best chances for that. You could also have fallen in love with a particular commander and be trying to score the best results with it. Or you simply just enjoy playing your deck and the results don't really matter to you. If there's one piece of advice I can give to you, don't force yourself to play a certain deck unless you belong to the first category of players. The outcome of an event is dependent on many factors, and even if you have an ambitious goal, you should still enjoy playing your deck, bearing in mind it might not be as successful as you wanted it to be. Now that you've picked your pile, let's get to play some games. If you're new to a deck, I can recommend to play online via Cockatrice, for example, because it's very time efficient. In case you struggle with Cockatrice, we've made another video some time ago which I will share in the description. Once you're familiar with your deck, try to focus on playing against the current meta decks, as well as evergreen commanders, for example Karizev as the red deck wins in our format. Learn to mulligan better, try to recognize the outcome of your decisions, and think about certain play patterns against the different strategies. If you feel like one archetype might be represented a lot, and you want to increase your win chance against it, think about useful cards to include for that particular matchup. In general, you should always keep in mind that a certain amount of archetypes are regularly represented, and you should be prepared to beat these decks, or at least be able to stand a chance against them. Now let's go over to the second part, at which we take a look at all the things you should prepare or keep in mind apart from playing the game. Tournaments most often start in the morning, so we're going through our checklist the day before. All sleeves of your deck, including the commander, should be exactly the same. The same brand, same type, the same color. Again, including your commander. Many players want to avoid reshuffling the commander into their deck by sleeving it differently. But as the rules allow for a zone change of your commander, it could possibly land on top of your library with cards like Memory Lapse, and it therefore has to have the same color. Apart from that, you should also make sure that you either fully double sleeve or single sleeve your deck. The next important aspect is that your sleeves have a decent condition to play with. There shouldn't be any dirt on the surface, welding on top of the sleeve, etc. etc. If the sleeves are too played, change them with a pack of fresh ones. If they happen to be non-opaque and modal double-faced cards are visible, you should exchange them with one of Wizard's proxy cards. Keep in mind that even if you're playing new sleeves, always have a second pack of new ones with you. You never know what's going to happen, even if someone else is in need of new sleeves, so you can lend them yours. In case you're playing cards that are altered in any way, if possible, bring a second normal copy in case the altered one isn't tournament legal. You should also make sure to have all or the most relevant tokens your deck produces available, especially if your commander creates them. This does help both you and your opponent to have a better overview of the board state. Try to avoid writing stuff on paper or just using dice. Instead, you should pack some dice to symbolize counters on your permanents. A very important aspect might be to decide how you're going to track your life total and that of your opponent. I would generally recommend to write it down instead of using a d20, but you should already start with that in test games in order to form a habit. Now, all that's left is to prepare your deck list, either digitally or printed. Last but not least, don't go to bed too late. Tournaments of Magic the Gathering can be exhausting. You really need your sleep. Now it's showtime. Enjoy a small breakfast and pack some snacks you can eat during the day. Once you arrived at the venue, the first thing you should always do is registering for the event. Now you can consult a judge to check your alterations, 4H for new or pimped cards, or simply talk to other players and share your excitement for the day. Keep in mind that printed deck lists are always collected prior to the first round of the event, when tables are already seated. If you've sent a digital version, there's nothing to worry about. Now, there are 2 more things to keep in mind. First, try to find some time for lunch during the day. Food is energy, and that's what we need to play Magic. Second, don't drink too much alcohol. Unless you're Czech, their biology is working differently. All that's left to say now is subscribe to our channel. And good luck for your tournament, of course. Hopefully, this little guide was helpful and it improved your preparation.